Hi, everyone. I'm Lihi, and I'm chatting with Tabitha Bronsema, an advisor from the College of Education. How are you doing today, Tabitha?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks for your asking.
That's so great. I'm so happy you're here with us today to give students a sneak peek into the College of Education and to kind of get a better understanding of what your program looks like. So I want to begin and ask first and foremost, would you mind giving students a really quick overview of the program and what you guys offer and what it kind of looks like? I also know that there's two different majors along with a minor and an online opportunity. So can you provide a little bit of insight about that?
Absolutely. Well, we do have two on-campus majors. The first is the Education, Community, and Organizations major, or ECO. That's what a lot of people call it. You can call it ECHO too. It's okay. The other is Early Childhood and Family Studies, or ECFS. We also have our online degree program. That's Early Care and Education, and that is for transfer students. You have to have a minimum of 45 credits. You got to still meet all those caters that you had to meet to get into the UW. And that is fully online. So that's an option that we offer as well. And then we have our education, learning, and society minor. And the minor is a really good fit for students who want that education background, but maybe can't fit an entire major.
Super cool. So, I mean, there's so many programs to choose from. How would you advise students on what program is most suitable for them and most aligned with their individual goals, both academically and personally?
Absolutely. The first thing that we say is, take some classes, jump in. We have Education 200. That's a great one, right? You can't even get into it if you're in the major. It's just for people that want to kind of know about education, intro to education. So that's a really good fit. Start looking through what courses we offer, and don't be scared if you see that they're closed to non-majors, period one, because oftentimes we have seats come up in period two, or they're just there, right? So look it over, see what speaks to you. That's a good way of first approaching it. Just a broad way of defining it, ECFS, Early Childhood and Family Studies, we say is a good fit for people that want to work with young learners, so early learners, 0 to about 8 years of age. And then ECO, Education, Communities, and Organizations, is a really good fit for students that want to work with older learners, 8 and up. It really kind of brings home that idea that even if you don't want to be a teacher, you want to be an educator, right? So if you're interested in teaching others in a classroom, educating people outside of a classroom, both of those majors are a really good fit. And the online major, that's a really good fit for students that perhaps are already working in the field or have other things that keep them from being able to get onto campus. And that's for students that want to work with learners 0 to 8 years old. So early care and education. And the minor is a wonderful fit if you want to take it all, but you can't, right? It's kind of like that, just a little baby feeding of it, and it's really impactful, and it's a really great way to get that education background.
Super cool. Yeah. So let's say I'm a student applying to the major. Once I've decided that I want to apply to a particular program, what does the application process look like?
Well, first of all, go see the webpage. I mean, I know we all say it, right? Like you're going to hear that from every advisor. I'm not unique, but do go check out that webpage. With each of our majors, it has a nice section there that really just talks about admissions, right? So even if we're not in an admission cycle yet, you can kind of get a jump on it and kind of know what the process is. A big thing, again, that we're going to tell you to do to be successful to apply, take those classes, really soak it up. And then when you're writing that personal statement, let's hear about it. What did you learn? Right. And make connections to the classes, but then also make connections with your own life, like what you've seen, what you've been through, what you hope to accomplish. That's really what we see. And then I'm going to toot my own horn here. I host an info session, and I just heard from my assistant director that students that are accepted into the major, overwhelmingly those that are most successful are ones that have attended an info session. And it's because, we have question and answer at the end, but we go in, we do a deep dive. We talk about the majors, we talk about what you can do with it. And then we talk about how to get into classes, what classes you need, what are the requirements to the major, because we want you applying into something you understand, that you really
Of
know about.
course. Super cool. So then I guess continuing on from that question, what do the actual admissions look like? Do you have any other tips you would recommend for students? I know you mentioned those information sessions, but is there anything else a student should do to kind of prepare and I guess increase their chances of joining
Right?
the major?
Yeah. it's okay to ask, right? Like, I think sometimes we're like, oh, we don't want to like worry about that. We don't want you to think we care. We just want you to think that, we want to be these wonderful educators. And we do. We know you're going to be that, right? But of course you want to know what makes you a competitive applicant, and what are you up against, right?
Mhm.
Eco's popular. Woo! Like we're popular. And that's great. And we love it. Right now, I just found out this last application cycle, we accepted about 61% of the applicants. So, okay. And then with ECFS, 89% of the applicants were accepted.
Wow.
Don't go thinking it's an easier major. We just tend to have students that apply to ECFS really clear goals, right? Really know, I want to work with the young students. I want to do this. So ECO can be sometimes students, because it's a little bit more broad, students aren't quite sure how to approach it, right? How is it going to fit with what they want? So that kind of reflects, again, why you come to an info session. So we can really tell you what the major is, and really you can start situating yourself in it. I would also say, as far as being successful, really look into the College of Education. Look into our website. Think about those classes that you've taken. Think about education, not necessarily teaching, and then really try to show how you want to be an educator. Yeah, right. I'm going to say it all the time. Can't all be teachers. We don't all want to be teachers, but we all can be educators. And that's what we want in our students, that type of mind.
Thank you so much for sharing those tips with us and also the stats. It's super interesting. Kind of transitioning into actually being in the major, then, what would you say the classes look like? And are there any specific types of opportunities based on the different program or just within the college as a whole?
Well, we really believe in community-based learning experiences. You're going to get it in both of the majors. You're going to get it in the minor. You're going to get it in individual classes, because we really think that you have to put into practice what you're learning, right? And that really comes into play with our students that want to teach, obviously, right? You're going to be excited to be joining into those classes. But also for those students that maybe don't want to be a teacher, to really get an idea of what it looks like to work in a community-based organization, right? What does that look like? And really expanding that idea of what our majors can do. So if you look at something like early childhood and family studies, you think, oh, teacher, kindergarten teacher, right? Oh, that's what I want to do. But what if you want to work with young children as like a child life specialist in a hospital setting? What if you're thinking about art therapy? That's what we want to talk about too. We want to know you, right? We want to know our teachers. We want to know those people that are bringing change into the world around them. So that ECFS degree can be there for you as well. With ECO, maybe you want to teach high school, but maybe you want to coach. Maybe you want to work with college students, right? I love it. You guys are great. That's another option, right? Because you're looking at 8 to adult learners. So I always say, I sound real cagey. I don't mean to be, but I'm like, tell me what you want, right? Like, tell me what you want to be when you grow up, and I'll see if that our major can do something for you, and what pathway. Because we do see our students going on to grad school. Obviously, if you want to teach, you will need to get your master's in teaching. We don't have credentialing programs at an undergraduate level. So if you're teaching, you're going to grad school, right? But even if you're not teaching, there's a lot of graduate school opportunities out there for you. You guys probably don't do this, but think about like when it was right before your birthday, right? And you were like, I want these toys. And you would like go on a website or a catalog or whatever, and you kind of mark it off. Do that with our course catalog. Do that. Look at that class and say, that sounds interesting. That's what I want to take. And even if you can't get into that class immediately, you're getting a focus about what you want to do. And we love to talk to students. So if you have any questions about opportunities afterwards, we love to talk and start planning those things as well.
Yeah. Thank you. You kind of already answered my next question about, future opportunities within the majors, but is there anything else students should know, like any more maybe specific career paths they could take or grad school paths, just so they can get like a broader overview of what they could really do with this degree moving forward?
Absolutely. As I said, we are going to get those students that want to be teachers, and we love that. And we have our teacher prep programs. So we have our programs that are, if you get your master's in teaching and also be getting your credential. Something to think about if you want to teach high school or junior high is maybe thinking about a double major. So like if you're thinking about, I want to teach math in high school, first of all, good job. You don't want me doing it, but I'm glad you are going to do it. But if you want to teach A lot of times it makes sense to major in what you want to teach because you have to get your endorsement, a subject endorsement in the subject you want to teach. So keeps people like me from teaching kids math because I couldn't take those classes and pass them. But you might want to take those as an undergraduate. It makes a lot of sense to do that, but you might not be able to fit an eco major too, right? That's a double major. That's where the minor comes in. The minor is a really good fit for a student like that. It's a lot. You're probably not going to remember a lot of this. You're going to remember a little bit of it. I always say reach out. If you have questions, just reach out. Just, we don't expect you to remember all of this. And for students that are on a longer path that are thinking about graduate school for teaching or graduate school for leadership, for working with students at different levels of their path, you need to realize that we're here for the long haul. We want to know about your future plans if you have them. We want to help you define your future plans if you don't have them. But we're not really a department that's like, hi, you're in, and then bye, you graduated. There's a lot in between there. You're going to get used to these faces.
That's really great to hear. I know that at such a large university, sometimes it's really difficult to feel supported and to feel like people are holding your hand kind of throughout the journey and with whatever decisions you decide to make. So that's really great to hear. And just to kind of wrap it up, thank you so much for your time, Tabitha, and for giving us more insight about the College of Education. I know a lot of students will be really excited about this opportunity, and including myself, I learned some new things I wasn't aware about such a large university. So it was really, really great speaking to you. And thank you so much for all your information.
Great. Check out the calendar, come to an info session. And if you can't attend one, I get it. I get schedules. Send me an email. I'd love to talk to you about it.